I went to see Iron Lung last Friday night, and I went into it open-minded, but cautious. Not because I doubted Markiplier. I've been shocked time and time again by the creativity he brings to every single project, but I've also seen how this usually goes. Years of hype, years of build-up, and the final product just feels like the same old YouTube movie experience. So, sitting there in the theater, I was genuinely on edge. Would the years of hype around this movie actually pay off? Would it live up to the version of the film people had already written in their heads after 3 years of listening to Mark talk about it? And honestly, the answer is probably going to be different depending on who you ask. But, from my experience, it was fantastic. Not because it's perfect, not because it's for everyone, and not because it suddenly redefined storytelling. At first, I actually struggled to detach Mark from Markiplier. For years, I've grown up watching this man play horror games, getting scared, laughing, joking, and even crying on camera. That image is so ingrained that when he first appears on screen, that's who you see. Markiplier, the YouTuber, the creator you followed for years. But honestly, it wasn't hard to forget all of that. Very quickly, you realize the person on screen isn't Markiplier. It's Simon, a prisoner trapped inside a submarine, buried beneath a blood ocean, slowly coming to terms with the fact that this place will ultimately become his final resting place. And that's when I realized something else. I didn't even love the story. Now, to be fair, before you all roast me alive in the comments, I didn't care much for the base game either. And that never really changed for me here. The story itself didn't fully grab me, and I'm completely fine admitting that. This type of genre of movie just really isn't my go-to for when I'm looking for something to watch. But what surprised me was how little that mattered. Because the story isn't what made the movie special. What stood out for me was the creativity, the passion, the intent behind every single scene. You can feel how much love was poured into this project. Not just from Mark, but the entire team behind it. Every shot feels deliberate. Every moment feels thought through. It feels like everyone involved genuinely cared about what they were making. And that's something you just don't see very often anymore. Even people who didn't love the storytelling have pointed out the atmosphere, the tension, the sound design, and the commitment to the vision. I've seen a lot of reviews even reflecting these, and people going on about how the story they didn't really like, but they respected that they could see the passion and the love poured into this project. And Iron Lung honestly just nails it with those things. It shows what a movie can do when people care about it. It shows that when you work on a project, no matter what it is, and you pour your heart and soul into it, people see that. This movie wasn't trying to be safe. It wasn't trying to check boxes. It wasn't trying to appeal to everyone. It was made because someone genuinely wanted to make it. You can see it in all the interviews and any of the times Mark has talked about this movie. He made it because he wanted to. There was no other reason. It wasn't about money. It was just, I like the game. It's a cool story, and he wanted to make something based off of it. Now, let's talk about the thing that you've probably seen all over the internet, and we'll probably continue to see Mark talking about it and other people talking about it, whether it be critics and film reviewers, and so on and so forth. And this part, I knew the movie would do good, but I didn't think it would do this good. And that's the part where this film went toe-to-toe with monopoly-sized studios like Disney and held them out of the #1 spot. And it did it with a fraction of the budget. Critics have acknowledged it. Audiences have acknowledged it. This wasn't just a successful indie film, it was a statement. Iron Lung didn't just make a splash in the indie movie scene, it made a tidal wave through the industry. It sent a very clear message: Hollywood isn't untouchable. Audiences don't just want louder movies or bigger budgets anymore. They want passion, they want creativity, they want something that feels like a human being actually cared while making it. And that's why even the story itself wasn't fully for me. I was excited the entire time. I cared the entire time. And that's more than I can say for most movies lately. Iron Lung isn't perfect. It isn't for everyone. But it proves something really important. When passion leads the project, people notice. And maybe that's the most important thing this movie has accomplished. So, if you haven't seen Iron Lung already, go do so now. There's plenty of theaters still showing the movie. Get your tickets. I highly recommend you watch it. Even if this style of horror genre isn't for you, as it isn't really for me, it's still definitely worth watching for the experience. And it's definitely worth watching it to see what a movie with a $3 million budget can do versus a studio like Walt Disney Studios can do with a $40 million budget on their movie that went up against this. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think my critiques are fair if you have seen Iron Lung? Or what do you think of the movie itself? Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. And until next time, bye-bye.